You long ago called the two-state solution a dead end, that there was no kind of pathway forward on that. Do you think that still holds today?
I think it's even more true today. I will say this first. If Joe Biden wants to lose the election this November, go ahead and recognize a Palestinian state. Go ahead. Make Donald Trump's day. We're not recognizing a state of mind. To recognize a state, there actually has to be one in existence. And right now, there is no Palestinian state. Sure, I think the report you just heard is part of the Biden administration's propaganda campaign to say the train's leaving the station, the big deal is about to happen. It's possible it will happen if the White House can break Israel's resolve. Yeah, there might be a big deal. The difference, I think, is that the Biden administration is so gravely concerned about its political prospects in November, it's nearly paralyzed about what to do about the larger conflict. It simply will not recognize what has been obvious, I think, since October the 7th, that the cause of these conflicts across the Middle East today is Iran. And because it won't admit that, its strategic response, the Biden administration's strategic response, is increasingly incoherent.
Do you believe that Iran has complete command control over all of the proxies in the region?
No, let's talk about NATO. Do you think the United States has complete command and control over the NATO alliance? Do you think we write letters saying, "Dear Mr. France, you will do this tomorrow, signed Uncle Sam"? You know, anybody who's been in NATO consultations knows what it's like. That's not the issue. The issue is the strategic evidence on the ground of what's happening, and there's no doubt that this is, as they said in the Cold War, no coincidence, comrade, what's going on here. I think people who are trying to deny Iran's absolutely central involvement are going to be shamed in history for their blindness here.
Explain that to me, because I don't know that anybody's trying to deny Iran's involvement. I think there's questions about scale of involvement, what's been directed. Are you saying that the nuance there isn't important? The fact that they fund and train is enough in and of itself?
Look, the Iranian government has for some time now been talking about the ring of fire strategy around Israel.
Right.
And that it's been reported over and over again. It's working to increase the coordination of these terrorist proxies that it arms, equips, trains, and finances. Do you seriously believe that Iran has done all that for the convenience of the proxies or for the convenience of Iran? We know that Iran's ultimate goal is hegemony in the region and hegemony within Islam. We don't know exactly what the goal is with this operation, but it is inconceivable that this is not all part of the Ring of Fire strategy. And so when we see the administration, for example, as one of your reporters earlier today said, that Iran was surprised at the attack at At-Tanf. And the reason they were surprised is this one had succeeded where so many others had failed. I mean, if the administration is really surprised at that, the difficulty for us is even more serious than I thought. I think what the administration is worried about is the conflict. They talk endlessly about not wanting a wider war, not escalating it.
Right.
The conflict is not the main issue. The main issue is the cause of the conflict. The conflict is a manifestation of the problem, and the problem is Iran. In this particular circumstance, Iran has crossed an American red line. They have killed 3 Americans. They have paid no penalty. They have incurred no cost for any of the violence in the region, not for the Hamas violence, not for what the Houthis are doing, not for what Hezbollah or the Shia militia have been doing. I don't think Iran will believe that the United States is serious, especially given all this diplomatic hand-wringing we see from the White House, until Iran itself begins to pay some costs. Now, I'm not saying that an initial attack on assets in Iran has to be regime threatening. In fact, I would say the contrary. But there are many, many kinds of locations that could be hit that shows the mullahs in Tehran, they could say whatever their red lines are, they're not going to dictate our response.
They have assets and infrastructure in Syria in particular, but also in Iraq as well. Is that not adequate?
No, I don't think it is. Look, The fact is that they feel they can range at large, not just killing Americans in Syria and Iraq, but threatening American citizens like Masih Alinejad, like Salman Rushdie,
right.
like former government officials. And they can do it because they feel not at risk. They are not deterred by the United States. So if you want to reestablish deterrence, there are ways to do it. The Biden administration is paralyzed by its unwillingness to see this reality. And I would just make one final point here. Iran's behavior right now is objectionable in so many ways. Would you rather face that problem today or face it after Iran gets nuclear weapons? You think their behavior will be better then? That reveals what Winston Churchill called the confirmed unteachability of mankind, the unwillingness to act when the cost will be low and deferring it until the cost for us gets potentially much higher.